Hello, my name's Philippa Waller.
My name is Penelope Waller, and we are two of the directors at 4D Human Being.
And welcome to the 4D Human Being podcast. What's it all about, Pen?
It's all about your personal and professional relationships. It's about your communication skills, how you lead, how you work and build teams, how you are looking after yourself and your well-being, and how you are much more at choice. What do we mean by that?
Well, sometimes we can get a little caught in patterns in life and we can all be a little bit on our automatic pilot. So 4D Human Being is all about helping us get back to choice and being a four-dimensional human being. And your fourth dimension, of course,
is intention. So whether it's about your impact, your leadership style, your team dynamics, whether it's about your well-being, whether it's about your communication or your presentation skills, anything that involves human beings interacting with other human beings, 4D Human Being are here to help.
We're going to take a deep dive and look at some tools, insights, theories that are going to help you go from a 3D human doing to a 4D human being so that you can happen to the world rather than the world simply happening to you. Good morning.
That was a technical...
Well,
sweating.
How relevant to what we're about to talk about. I mean, we could literally just thread that last 15 minutes into the whole podcast. So, hello, welcome to our Leading Through Change series.
Yes. And there's a change in the air, Phil.
Super segue, yes, right, Laura. I mean, that where we are, there's a change in the air.
We've had to open the door of my office
Yes.
because I'm so in the habit of putting the heater on before I come in here.
Yeah.
I've had it on for an hour this morning and it's now like a sauna in here. I mean, it looks like a sauna and it feels like a sauna.
We're not clothed for a sauna, however.
Luckily I've got my T-shirt on, Phil.
Trust the universe. I'm not sure you were fully embodying that.
No, I wasn't.
Although you were very calm.
When the tech stuff was happening.
You were very calm. So this episode, so I'm going to do a quick callback to the previous episode. So our first episode of Leading Through Change was about resilience and the importance of resilience, what that actually means. If you haven't listened to that, do go back and listen to that.
I like to think of bamboo kind of swaying.
Yes, it's the tree, it's the flex.
Yeah.
It's resilience, as you said in the episode, is so often, these words like authenticity, resilience that we use so much start to get so stretched that we stop knowing what they really mean.
Yeah.
So really useful to go back to that. This episode is around edge behaviours, what happens when we're faced with uncertainty or change, how we can recognise our mindset and our behaviours in those moments, and how we can get over the edge and step into change with a very different mindset, and of course lead others through that. And then the final episode in 2 weeks' time will be around adaptability, the improvisation mindset, and actions, like what can we actually do.
Yes.
So today we're going to look at what are edge behaviours. Can we recognise the triggers when we're at the edge? How do we get over the edge? A quick revisit of the internal piece, looking at blaming the outside system versus getting ourselves stable. When the outside system's not stable through change, can we get ourselves stable? That's the fourth piece. And then the fifth piece, which really bridges from that, is the possibility mindset, and how which we love, and how often we don't even realise we've gone the other way.
Do you know what I'd say about that last one, Phil, is I think sometimes we can think, I've sort of got to be happy and I've got to think things are amazing, even when they don't feel like that. And yes, we don't want to push too far into that. But you know what I really know through this work, because I've lived it, is how you're shaping your experience of life by how you frame things.
Oh, and I go back to one of the phrases I love, I think this is a Michelle Obama as well, every day you practice who you become. It's definitely not, we'll get to that when we get there, but it's definitely not about the mask, sort of pop the grin,
Everything's fine!
I think Matt, our fabulous colleague, said something like the permanent grin, where it's not, it's really not. Paper thin, the paper thin grin, there we go. So let's go through it, because I already want to jump to the end and the possibility mindset, because that's the really fun bit, isn't it?
I do like edge, though. I tell you what, when I first got introduced to the edge model, just watching your dog in my beautiful flower bed. Watch my hellebores, Humphrey.
When you say watch them,
Humphrey and the hellebores.
Humphrey and the hellebores. There's a children's
When
book.
I first learnt about this model, it was quite revelatory, as so many of these models are, because of course before that I didn't really have a concept and a language to refer to when thinking about change. It was just a thing that you go through multiple times in organisations. And as soon as I saw this model, I started recognising, I see what's happening here. But the second thing was, Phil, which I know you'll get into, is how surprising some of the behaviours are that you would not think were about resistance to change.
Well, it's so normalised, isn't it? It's the water in the goldfish bowl. We stop seeing it and we all do it, and then we get, well, that's just me. I mean, how many times have I heard that recently? And then we get into the whole authenticity thing. Anyway, another big topic. So what are edge behaviours? Well, edge behaviours are what shows up, as we're discussing here, maybe, sometimes, often, unconscious, always. We don't often say always. So
when you feel edgy.
So someone comes in with we've got a transformation initiative, we're going to turn this all around. It means completely changing how you communicate to your customers, or even if you've got you're in education. I had this, and they go, we're changing the portal that you upload your essays to, and you're what are edge behaviours? And of course, where we can go in that is immediately one of the pieces I absolutely love about this is our wonderful prefrontal cortex that just does the most instant brilliant job at justifying why this is a terrible idea and why this won't work.
And you can think of it because of course the edge model or edge behaviours are very often depicted in terms of a pyramid or a triangle, and the current reality is on one side of it, and the new as yet unseen reality,
the unknown,
is on the other side of the pyramid. Because you're on one side of the pyramid and you're looking at the pyramid and you look up and it just feels overwhelming.
Well,
and you're like, I think I'll just stay here.
Well, exactly, because to follow through on your brilliant metaphor there and analogy, and it is the model. We love a pyramid. If you imagine, if we bring that pyramid to life and turn it into a mountain, you're at the bottom of it. Firstly, looking up at the enormous climb ahead. Secondly, imagining reaching the precipice and having to go off the other side into what?
Yes.
So if we think about our sort of primal brain here, I love these thoughts. We've had this before. When you imagine when humans, or animals
first evolved, you're in your sort of furs or your loincloth,
and you literally don't know what's 500 yards.
You'll be like, stay in my cave.
I think I'll stay in my cave because I actually don't know if the world is flat and I'm going to fall off the end of it.
It really does make me think, Phil. I mean, I do often think about this because one of my daughters is studying nutrition at the moment, and they were talking about the history of food.
Yeah.
And the first one, sort of prehistoric, was not prehistoric, but when we were first around as humans, it was like try and fail.
Yeah.
Tried and tested.
It.
It was like trial and error. That's what I was thinking.
And trial and error had high stakes then.
So it really makes me think we have to really thank the people who looked at those mountains and were like, I'm going to have a crack.
Yeah, I'm having a crack. And of course, we'd
still be in the cave.
But this is like Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, isn't it? It's the ants around the edge of the central column that are going, I wonder what's here. And you're like, good luck, Bob. But
Bob might find a whole
Bob might find a loaf of bread discarded, and you're like, go Bob. But equally, Bob could get squashed. So we have the pioneers playing the pioneers. So anyway, we're not necessarily saying everyone needs to be pioneers and charge up the mountain.
Although we can find our way.
Yes, exactly. We find our way.
It might be slower.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to help you find a route
Before we go on to it, I just want to mention, and I know leaders out there in organisations, you'll know this, but that analogy is a really good way to think about even some of the smallest changes that you're trying to encourage your team or your organisation through. And yes, I understand there's often the need for speed, and things need to happen, actions need to happen. I guess just kind of pulling back and recognising that even if for you it doesn't feel particularly overwhelming or scary, just sort of recognise that there's quite a lot of people that will be looking at this hill and just completely overwhelmed and completely not able to visualise what's on the other side.
Yeah, and so we're going to get to how you manage that as a leader.
Bit like me going to the gym, Phil.
we're going to use that as an example. That's number 3, getting over the edge, Pen. And I played a big part in that, right? But actually, it wasn't just me, to be fair. It's Mark as well at the gym. Okay, let's get there. So edge behaviours. So really notice when you are at edge, and this can be all kinds of things. You'll probably procrastination is a huge one. Over controlling, shutting down, blocking, snapping, catastrophizing. There's so many things that we do. The important thing to say is 2 things to reframe edge behaviour. So to reiterate, edge behaviour will be almost like the waters are still, something happens, and suddenly your boat is at least bobbing a little bit, if not completely rocking, and that's how it feels.
Yeah, and the strategies will tend to be around, exactly as you said, just you're not quite sure yet whether there has to be any movement forward or whether you can stay where you are. You're also trying to manage your own anxiety.
Exactly.
You might also be trying to manage anxiety of other people.
Exactly.
So it very often comes through quite defensive behaviours, exactly as you said, asking lots of questions or procrastinating or shutting down. It can also come through some really surprising behaviours. Like if I think about sometimes working in groups and teams, things like humour or sarcasm, or creating little sort of clans,
undermining,
gossiping. There's lots of things.
Tribal behaviours, exactly. Siloing, that those people over there are gung ho, over here we're right, they're wrong. We should stick to the same path that we're on. Absolutely. So it's really becoming super aware that if any, like you say, any kind of change. I mean, literally, we're changing the brand of coffee with you. I mean, it honestly doesn't matter the size of it, because what's weird about it, it's like trauma. It's not really the thing, it's the button. It's the button that gets pushed. So if you've got a lot of change going on, and then someone says, "Oh, we've changed the biscuit variety," and you go, "I was not included in that." That's edge behaviour. That's probably overwhelmed from the amount of change, because that's a whole other piece there. But of course, you can actually do a change assessment, and you find that you're shouting about the biscuits when you start to look at, tick the boxes of, well, I'm moving house, my child's going to a new school, we've lost half the team. When you start to add it all up, you're in overwhelm. The biscuits, there wasn't any room left. So
I mean, I certainly remember, I mean, I've been through a number of change initiatives in corporate, and I remember being with a really fun team at one point, and we were sort of going through this very, very challenging change, and of course we used sort of tribal humour to a very sort of extreme degree. And of course, it helped us keep our spirits up because, we found humour in the situation. And of course, looking back, I can see how that was resisting the change.
Yes, well, exactly. And what's really useful about that, Pen, is for all of this, and again, we'll get there, is really pulling apart what's useful here and what's not. Because actually, humour can be really useful, but is it inclusive or is it divisive? So
well, also connecting with other people. We can do that in a sort of gossipy and negative way.
Exactly.
Which is still an edge behaviour, but we can find the positive
exactly.
in it.
So, 2 things I want to say, because we're going to get more into the detail. 2 things to say on what is edge behaviour. It can be absolutely anything that is taking you away from stepping forward and moving forward together. This is the way to think about it. It's just data. So rather than judging yourself that, oh, I'm terrible, I should be more like this, or they should be more like this, it's information. If you've got people stonewalling, or you've got people defensive or blocking, it's information. Use it as information, not as a judgment.
It's self-awareness. I mean, it's great.
Exactly. It's go, oh, something's happening here. So the system is giving you information that this is tough, at least for some people. And the second thing is, this is a really nice reframe. The only thing edge behaviour needs to be, it doesn't need to be failure. The only thing it needs to be framed as is the moment before choice. And I think it's a bit like the Tibetan monks using the idea of the mobile phone going off or the doorbell ringing during your meditation, you can see that as an irritation, or you can see it as a wake up to become more conscious of what's actually happening, rather than it's a problem. I'm waking up to my irritation here. Let me go back. So use edge behaviour as we're in change here. This is information,
and you'll all be different. So be aware that your own edge behaviour will be different to other people's edge behaviour. So sometimes it's quite difficult for us to identify it in ourselves, and certainly to identify it in other people.
Yeah. So we've kind of merged the second piece of this, which is recognising those triggers. So there's definitely something here around, both for yourself and as a leader, is giving some space to ask what's happening here. Before we even get to what we need to do and the change we need to step into is, let's take a moment. I'm noticing that we're in a bit of sort of conflict here, or there's some difficult feelings in the room. Let's really look at what's going on here. And really important as a leader, I would offer, as human beings, is that we go to the secondary level. That when we're thinking about problems to solve or edge behaviour through change, that we don't stop at, Bob's blaming Jill and they're gossiping over there, but go to the secondary. What's happening? What's actually happening? Because those, like you say, those edge behaviours are all going to look different. We've got some people who are turning up late, and some people who are turning up early, and so to make sure they get their voices heard more and not giving and these are very different behaviours.
I had a kind of similar conversation with a client yesterday who they've had a lot of disruption in manufacturing industry in a plant, and lots of stress and pressure. And of course, where we go to is that over-controlling, over-information, must have more information.
Yeah.
And I just asked her, I said, do you think it really is that intellectual prefrontal cortex that needs serving, or is it the emotional dimension? And what you're saying about going to that second level, which I think sometimes we can neglect to do as leaders because we're busy, and we stay in that sort of intellectual 100%. Let me give you some more information about the change, and
let me explain why I'm right.
Yes, does anybody not understand something that's happening in the change? And we'll stay there. And we don't often go to that second level, is can we talk about what's happening in this room now and how everyone's feeling? And it can feel really hard to do that as a leader. But that's the thing that needs serving, and we just keep throwing data at it.
You are so right. And we talk about this in the therapy room. While we have our stories and we have our narrative and we have the things that have happened in our lives or that are happening, that is kind of the material to understand what's happening underneath. And you're absolutely right. We can end up staying in there, and that narrative just keeps adding.
You'll never have enough information.
Because there'll be another moment in the kitchen tomorrow that was annoying. There'll always be more,
and I'll still be gossiping with Bob by the water cooler.
That will never stop. Exactly. So recognising the triggers, recognise that these are often unconscious choices. They've been survival strategies that we've grown up with. Your key as an individual or a leader: get curious, not critical.
Ooh, she loves an alliteration.
Because obviously, as the leader, it's so easy, isn't it, to look at your system and go, well, if Bob, Dave, Sandra and Jill weren't doing this, we'd all be fine.
Well, I'm going to double...
You add your own siloing.
Well, I'm going to double down on that, which is the leader themselves might actually be quite critical of the change initiative. Well, so you've just got it flowing right down the organisation.
Let me triple down on my alliteration. Get curious, not critical, because it's contagious. Come on. Laura, there's got to be some kind of music jingle
for... I don't think such a jingle exists, Phil.
Like a double alliteration and then a triple. And if we get the quadruple, I don't even know what happens. Maybe the podcast explodes.
It's triple alliteration time with Phil and Pep for these human beings.
So get curious, not critical, because it's contagious. I'm just going to keep saying that. I'm
going to put that on a post.
I love nothing more than do you know what? There's one thing I love more than alliteration. Is an alliteration that just happened in the moment. I mean, my body is absolutely filled with joy at the moment. Okay. So here's two.
It's the small thing.
It's the small thing. Thank God. It always should be, because it's much easier, isn't it? So we're gonna do a podcast on joy soon, aren't we? Okay. So the end of this section is leader or member of team or family or friends. Name the pull. Name the negative pull. Name it. Put it in the room. What triggers love nothing more is to stay in the dark and be working under the surface, like the feet under a swan.
And when you say what's going on here, and Bob folds his arm, nothing's
going on over here. Everything's fine here.
Then we probably need to change things up. But you absolutely know something's going on.
Yeah, and when you name the pull, I'm noticing that maybe notice it for yourself as I'm noticing how much I want to go to blaming the higher up authority figures here. I'm noticing how much I want to go to this will never work. I mean, that's a classic one, isn't it? This will never work. Name the pull, because when you've put it on the table, it's like putting a pile of donuts on the table. Nobody can say there's no donuts on the table. It's there. So you make it an object. Don't let it run the show. Put it out front. So really name the pull. I'm really noticing that we are looking at what's not going to work, what the problems are, the negative, and don't judge it. Completely understand it. I kind of feel the same.
Exactly. Well, exactly. I was just going to say exactly that, Phil, that it might help if you feel you can to show that little bit of vulnerability as a leader. You know, I might say something like, look, I know for me that a bit of sarcasm and quips is probably indicative of the fact that I'm at the edge of something.
So can we notice that?
Can we notice that? And if anybody else feels they have something,
and you almost don't have to do a lot more with it, because you've got no doubt super clever people on your team. It's just that all these, like you say, the physical and emotional likes to work under the water.
And we don't have a language for it.
A little bit like synchronised swimmers. It's all messy under there, and they only want to come up when it looks neat. And what you're saying is we're going to look at the mechanics under there. Okay. A quick word from us at 4D Human Being. If you're enjoying the show, please do click follow so that you can have the 4D Human Being podcast instantly in your feed. And we'd love it if you liked and reviewed us. Let us know what you think.
Please do think of one or two people that you could share the 4D Human Being podcast with. Somebody who would really benefit from the content you're listening to right now.
Back to the show. How do we get number 3? How do we get
I love this one.
Over the edge? We're definitely going to talk about the gym here.
Well, I know this is one from us from childhood, Phil. So there's lots of ways to get over the edge, which Phil will go into. One of them is about having a partner to go with you. So literally imagine you're going up the mountain and someone's sort of holding your hand or sort of helping you pull up on the ropes, and or somebody just goes ahead of you and says, it's all right up here, it's all right up here. And I have to say, you are the older twin, and I feel in many times in our life you have been that either partner by my side or the person sort of going ahead. Classic example of you going ahead was sledging when we were young, and you ended up in A&E.
I'm not sure that ended well.
No, so I didn't do that. But the gym is a brilliant recent example that I've got to be really honest with myself. Not my favourite thing. Wouldn't go on my own. And you were like, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
And I was like, you definitely got me over that hurdle of getting in my car on a whatever evening and going to the gym.
So getting over the edge, I'm probably more a jumper.
Yes, definitely.
So I really don't want to spend too long thinking about it.
Yeah, you don't want to be on this side of the mountain
at all.
Talking about what it might be like on the other side. No. You're just like, you're already halfway. I'm going to go and have a look.
Yeah, and actually on the descent, when I realise there's no trampoline at the bottom, I'll fix en route. I'll whip my jumper off and make a parachute. You know, that's more how. And I think that's, recognising that what helps me get over the edge is, I think what I know about myself is I've got the energy to run around, go back up and try again. That I'd rather have speed and lots of attempts than think about getting the perfect attempt. I think that's overall true of me. Not always, but overall.
And can I make a reference here, which we'll decide if we keep this in, but for anybody who watched The Celebrity Traitors in the UK, Claire Balding, who is a TV presenter and sort of sports personality in the UK, is such a brilliant example of this. So they were doing an exercise and everyone was talking about it and trying to work out how to do it together, and Claire was just like, I'm just going to go and pull the lever.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. What a lovely
And on that
example.
occasion, it didn't work, but it might have done.
It might have done. Yeah, love it. So it's really recognising what helps you get over the edge. You know, a friend is an absolutely brilliant example, and there's a piece of research recently which I absolutely love, which was people were put at the bottom of a mountain looking up the top to hike up. One group were put on their own and asked how they felt and assessed on how easy they thought it would be and how long it would take. And the other group every time were put in pairs, in buddy pairs. And the people who were put into pairs always judged it as shorter, quicker and easier.
Wow,
because they were with a friend. Isn't that amazing? So it could be...
The other one might be as well just a little trial.
Yes, a mini trial.
Yes, so I'm
going to build you a little mountain.
I mean, if I think about this in terms of the software accounting change that was the biggest change I went through when I was in corporate many years ago. If somebody had just given me a little... Yeah. You're only going to use it for this one tiny thing, and there's not a billion sort of buttons and lists down the side. There's just 3.
Yeah.
I think I might have got there a lot quicker, but because new systems and accounting software are absolutely overwhelming.
So let me give an equivalent of that. You have a new IT setup. So what I would need is to not eat the whole elephant, as we say. To know everything about that. Yeah. And Matt did this brilliantly on AI. Actually, what's the one bit that would be really useful right now? So can you take it in chunks? Run ahead, that I absolutely love.
Visualizing it is very useful.
Act as if you're already there and see what that's
doing
like.
It for others as well is really good. So, you know, even if you're sitting on the side of the mountain thinking, I don't want to do this, I don't think it's going to work, just look around your colleagues and think, you know what, we know we have to do it. I'm going to run ahead for them. I'm going to do it for them.
Can I say your phrase I love that you say sometimes to me is, I'm taking one for the team.
Yeah,
I'll do it for the team, and actually, you know, pop it in your bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, also, particularly if we add in that lovely Boston matrix of what's high value to them and low cost to me. It's actually, I find this easy, so I'm going to jump first.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of people do need lots of information. Other people, a schedule will work brilliantly for you, much more planning. Yeah. Like I said before, visioning for some people is hugely important. So creating imagery, we often say, is really important to help people understand what might be on the other side of the mountain and get moving as well. So lots of ways we can help people to get over the edge.
I love the small step. I think that's really good. That makes me think of the pandemic. I feel like we're starting to talk about this finally as actual history.
Yeah, it'll be in the history books.
Yeah, we totally will, if not already. But, so the pandemic is a really good example. We had to pivot very, very quickly as an SME, and I remember going up to the woods with an iPhone, and my partner at the time's daughter did some filming for me. And it was that small chunk. It's like, I don't know what is going to unfold in the next few weeks, months. Like, none of us knew whether it was going to be like some sort of, you know, the movie Contagious, but what I could do was that first thing of, well, what we can do is put some useful tips and content out online like that. I absolutely knew that, and it was so accessible. And what it actually did was completely unfold into not only courses we ran, but the whole digital platform we now have. But I didn't know that at the time. But that was doable.
Yes,
and it answered a problem.
Yeah, the small steps.
Really small. Number 4. So what's going to get you over the edge? Number 4 is the inside job. Now we covered some of this in the resilience before once we've thought about, well, what happens in change, the edge behaviours, the triggers, and getting over the edge. One of the pieces that we need is to self-regulate, and
because just remember, it's a physical response. And again, we go to the prefrontal cortex. We think we need information, but the body is in uncertainty.
Exactly. And do you know what the thing
is? Like you're in the cave.
Yeah, like the thing I absolutely love about this, because I know any listeners who are going, oh, we're in the breathing, meditating, self-regulating.
I have a bit of that.
I have a bit of that. But this is
I don't do the breathing in the yoga class, Phil.
But we need.
I breathe.
Sure.
But I don't do the sort of breathing section.
We need to talk about that. This is the bit I love. This is the bit I love about this. This is so important. When we're in change, when we're in uncertainty, even chaos, whatever, look at the world. Oh my goodness. We spend so much time looking outwards to either blame, have a go, or critique, or solve it solution, you should do something, rescue me. And this is a trap because we get stuck.
Yes.
What I love about this is the certainty and stability you can absolutely access is inside your body.
It's the only place it is.
It's the only place. And what we do is we spend all this time dysregulated and unstable, trying to get the other person or system to get regulated so that we can feel regulated. You can shortcut this, baby. You can go, that's dysregulated out there, I'm going to regulate me.
For anybody, and I could finish that sentence, who is going through a period of change in their work, but it's sort of pointless now because everybody is. But for anybody out there who has got involved in a slightly or dramatically conflictual long email chain where more and more people get copied in, which happens so often, just imagine how different the means and the style of the communication would have been if every single person involved in that email chain had done a little bit of self-regulation before stepping to their keyboard.
Yes.
I mean...
Well, and then got off email, but yes.
and then got off email, ideally.
Yeah.
It'll be totally different. But we think the answer is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to caveat this with, I know that for many, that self-regulation has not been learned through their childhood and development. So it's so interesting, isn't it? Because we can just sort of slot this in and go, oh, by the way, before you step into change, bit of breathing, get self-regulated.
You'll be fine.
But actually, this is incredibly difficult and actually can be very, very uncomfortable for people to tune into what's going on in their body.
And particularly neurodiverse people, that the emotional dimension can be very difficult to regulate.
Yes.
But lots of us, as you say, don't learn it. We don't learn that we can actually self-regulate internally because just through the way we've been conditioned, we understand that regulation has to come from outside. And of course, that's not always the case.
So I want to give a caveat to this. For some people, stillness, calming, gentle walk in nature, reading a book, having a bath, all going to help. For some people, we need to kind of be a little bit more activated than that. So things like more movement, a brisk walk, maybe even dancing around the kitchen, that you're putting some activation into the system, but you're taking control of it. Exactly. So find your access point. If sitting on a beanbag just leaves you completely imploding internally, then
get moving.
Move a bit. Okay.
But you're effectively, what you're doing is you're trying to counter the trigger that's happened by you taking control of your breathing, your nervous system, regulating your body, because something externally has think of it as something externally sort of grabbed it and is in control of it, and you want to grab control.
And you're
back.
saying we're in control here. Exactly that. Okay, number 5, the possibility mindset. I'm gonna read this out. It is not possible to access possibility from a place of reactivity. So that's why step 4 is so important, because that whole fight or flight is not designed for you to go, oh, I think I'll go and take a look over here.
Yeah.
It's designed...
Tiger on the savannah.
Exactly.
Fight or flight. I'm not thinking, I wonder if...
Yeah, something new. Should we have a look? Get curious.
It's like,
Exactly. So we have to get at least...
And it's a good point, though, that sometimes you don't necessarily want to step into possibility. Like, if there's genuine danger...
Sure. Absolutely.
And it's relatively rare that there's actual danger in a change initiative.
Absolutely. So
in the workplace.
Exactly. So...
It might feel like that. But.
Exactly. So... And it's not even like we said before, it's not that we have to be in some kind of Zen state all the time. It's just that if we are in the reactivity where we feel out of control, we're not going to be able to look for possibility. Okay. This is the thing I love about the possibility mindset. We've done so much on this over our podcasting and training days. It's a can-do attitude. It's what's possible. Here's the thing to think about. Not to go into self-blame or defeat, or that
sort of catastrophizing.
Looking at what's not working. I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible leader, I'm weak, I shouldn't think like this. We are wired that way. Like, give yourself a break. That's where the brain's going to go. But it's noticing it and shifting to what can I control, what is possible here. And this is what I love. Humphrey, get out of the helleboard.
He's literally digging my flowers up.
Such a monkey. And now we've got activated dogs now. But this is the way to think about the possibility mindset. Where is your energy going?
Yes.
I think that's a much more accessible way than I should or I shouldn't.
Totally, Phil. And you very often talk about this more sort of in the arena of mental health, that the energy is there, and anxiety is there. It's just inherent in who we are as humans. And the question, exactly as you said, where do you want it to go? And there's a number of ways it could go. It could implode in.
Yes.
In terms of, as you said, self-criticism, or just bringing us down, or stagnating. It could go out in terms of reactivity. It is equally possible to push it out into creativity. I would offer, and this is not true for everybody, but I would offer that for some of us, pushing that anxiety and energy out into creativity takes a little bit more conscious thought.
Yes.
The other two places might be a bit autopilot for some of us.
Yes, so we need the mindset of what's possible here. And that is simply us stopping, asking the question, what could we do right now? What is in our hands right now? What would be possible if we stopped spending our energy here and put it here? And from there, it doesn't have to be huge, but we know the direct relationship between anxiety and action. As soon as we start taking action of what's possible, our anxiety starts to go down. I mean, honestly, it can even be doing the washing up or tidying a drawer. Like, it's just doing something. Yeah. I did something. I really thought of you yesterday.
I love tidying a drawer.
Well, I really thought of you yesterday. I can't even remember what it was now. I remember thinking, I must say this to Pen. I did some really sort of household. I can't remember what it was. And I remember getting to the end. I got to the end of it. It must have taken 20 minutes. And I thought, that's
done.
That feels good. That feels good because it was completion.
Yes, I will watch videos of people organising their under sink cupboards, Phil. Yeah. I know.
It's completion.
Yeah,
it's the gestalt. It's the full circle. Yeah. And in uncertainty and difficulty or chaos, what we don't have is the gestalt, is the complete circle. Yeah. So if you can find smaller tasks, possible tasks that you can do what we can do is change our office sort of communication choices or system, or we can change our slide decks or something. You can do a completion task within the chaos that can really regulate you.
And it's also developmental. So, for those of you who are interested in sort of developmental theory, the stage of human development that we are pushing into and we need to push into is creativity. So really moving from reactivity to creativity. Absolutely. So, get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Pause when you're feeling that edge and change, when you're feeling like things aren't possible, take a moment and think, do I want to be a developed human being? And step into the creative mindset, the possibility mindset.
Right. And call a friend on the way and have a vent.
Yes.
Absolutely fine. Like, the feelings are there. And that makes me think of this last piece on this. Well, just to say again, this is contagious. So as a leader, when you start looking at possibility and using that language, it's going to start rippling
Well, if you ask
through.
your team, what's the problem here? What are the issues here? Versus what's one thing that's possible? What's one thing you love about this? The whole conversation will change.
The whole conversation changes. So, really important. This is not to pretend that difficulty doesn't exist. Yeah. This is simply to refuse to live there. So we're not looking at the toxic positivity like we started, the full loop completion of sort of of like the fixed grin and pretense. It's you're right. We don't know. This is tough.
Yes, it feels hard.
We can't get hold of those products. Yes, the customers are
annoyed. Gonna have to take half a day off.
Yeah, this is all true, and we're not going to live there. Yes, we're going to acknowledge that it's there, and we're going to ask a different question.
Well, we often say, Phil, don't we, which you love, that at the simplest level, there are 3 ways to live your life. And I think that is true now more than ever, because the world is just happening to us.
You'll have to name those 3.
Yeah, I will. The world is just happening to us at an ever increasing pace.
Yeah,
that is happening.
Yeah,
and I think lots of what we see in change initiatives and change theory is the energy is spent trying to stop it from happening,
or to control it,
or redirect it. It's going to keep happening, and it's going to keep happening faster and faster. So your choice as a human being is you have 3 choices. Very simple. This is happening. I'm going to be sort of victim to it and just accept that it's happening, and sort of might be a bit passive, might be a bit victimized, might accept things that are really against your values. I'm just going to be crushed by it. The second way to live your life is to fight. Yeah. I'm going to be reactive. I'm going to push back. I'm going to complain. I'm going to blame. This isn't right. I'm going to block. The third way to live your life as all this change is happening is to reflect on yourself and decide to change something here. Now, that might be an awareness around an edge behaviour. It might be taking an action. It might be asking a more sort of possibility mindset question. But that really is your creative choice of where to live your life.
So empowering, Pen. I just love it so much.
Yeah.
So your tip right at the end of this, if we wrap all of this up, we move through, recognise your edge behaviour, recognise the triggers within yourself, name it. Thirdly, how can you and others get over the edge? What are the things that help you get through that wall of fire over the edge? Number 4, inside job, get yourself regulated. Don't wait for the system to regulate you. Get yourself certain and stable. Number 5, how can you go into that positive mindset? Where are you putting your energy? What is possible here? One simple question to ask to bring all of this together. Stop, breathe, name what's happening, and then ask, what can we actually do here?
Very nice.
Simple. So that is your episode 2 of Change.
We have another one coming.
We've got another one coming up, which is all about that flex, that adaptation, moving quickly and taking things into action and being much more really a way of being. That you are simply that. You stop even thinking about it, because when change comes in, uncertainty comes in, you're already that bamboo, that tree that's ready to flex and move. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. It's so freeing.
Meeting the system just in every moment where it is.
Well, we've got a taxi coming in about half an hour, Phil. So my question is, what can we actually do here and now?
Well, we need to stop recording, say goodbye to our fabulous listeners, and get these dogs up to the dog sitter and go to Copenhagen.
Lovely. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the 4D Human Being podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Do take on board some of the insights, tools and tips, because every time that you try something new to get back to choice, you are making a vote for the you that you want to become. And I love that phrase, Pen.
I do too. And please do share this episode with somebody that you know would really benefit from the lessons and learnings we've been chatting about today.
And of course, if you're interested in more from 4D Human Being, do get in touch. We run workshops, trainings, online, in person, conference events and keynotes. We've got the 4D On Demand platform for your whole organisation. And we do have a free Essentials membership where anybody can sign up for absolutely free to access some of our insights, tools and tips. So do get in touch with us if you'd like to hear more. We cannot wait to hear from you and to carry on the conversation.